What is up? The theme of the day is if it's meant for me, it will be. So that's what we're going with today, man. I put together some bets based on what I've seen on the weigh-ins. We're done. We've done the research. We've done the homework. We're going to put out some bets here for you. We're going to give you what I think is going to happen in these matches. I've already gone over. So if you haven't seen my full card breakdown, go watch the breakdown. All those things are still remaining the same. I'll do a quick one after I put in these bets just to kind of update you if you're not willing to go back and watch the other video. My name is Brady. This is Be All In Sports. Supposedly, they got my internet fixed and we should be streaming a little bit better. So maybe we will not see some of these little gaps that we've had some problems with here recently, but maybe we'll see. If it does, then it does. Nothing I can do about it. But we'll get right into it. I have already got some bets in. Some of these I put in a little bit earlier in the week, so you may get better odds. You may get a little bit different odds here. Some of these, not a lot of them have changed. Some of the big time favorites, they are still big time favorites. Some of them have gone up a little bit, some of them have gone down just a little bit, but they're basically along the same lines. If I've picked some of those, most of those I have kind of stayed away from. There's a couple that I couldn't, so I'm excited to see some of these fights. Sorry about my stopped up nose here. So if you're having to deal with that, apologies. But we'll get right into this, and I'll give you these bets. Not gonna waste any more time here. So I've broken this down into different parlays. If I'm gonna put together a parlay, I usually like to get it close to the plus odds. If I can't, then well, that'll just have to be what it is. But this is my most confident one. I do have a 2-unit play on this. This is my money line parlay. I put this in pretty early, and like I said, if you've some of these have actually gotten worse. So this is not bad for what I do have here. I have a 3-pick parlay. This was the one that I immediately, sometimes you just see these ones that you're just thinking, yeah, it's going to be that guy that wins this thing. I think he can get it done in many different ways. But these are my pretty much most confident picks. There's a couple of them that I have changed up a little bit. I do have more confident picks in some of these in these first two, but these are just like right off the cuff, the ones that I looked at money line. I wanted to get them in quick. So my first one is going to be a money line parlay on DraftKings. All these are on DraftKings right now. I didn't play any on FanDuel this week, but we're going to put in a 3-pick parlay. We got minus 110 on this. We got Damon Blackshear at minus 470. I think he's going to win this matchup. I think he's just the better fighter than Cody Gibson. I don't know. For some reason, there was a little bit of weirdness at the weigh-ins. Cody tried to shake his hand. Damon wasn't having anything to do with it. We'll see how this goes. Sometimes that can piss off the other person, and they fight a little bit different, fight with more motivation. But Blackshear looks like he's pretty set on getting this victory. So I went with him, even though he does have some pretty high odds. I can see the reasons why. My second one is Andre Lima. This is a testy one, and I do have a little bit of a counter on this a little bit later. But Andre Lima, I think, is the better fighter in this. He looks motivated when I was watching the weigh-ins today. It's about the same size. I don't see much of a size advantage, but I think the youth is going to be there for him. I think he's the more aggressive fighter out of the two, and I think when he lands with a little bit more authority. Not saying that Barres doesn't, but I just think that Lima's going to be the one that's going to get it done here. Minus 310. It was a little bit higher than I wanted to take it. I did end up hesitating just a little bit on this pick and got it in a little bit later than I wanted to. I should have gotten in when it was minus, I think, 290. But I put that in on this 3-leg money line parlay. And my last pick, this is one of my most confident picks. I hope this doesn't blow up in my face here. Kevin Vallejos is a minus 520. You never really like putting in minus 500 type fighters unless there's legitimate reason, which I think in this particular instance, I think there is. When I did watch the weigh-ins, Choi does have quite a little bit of a size advantage on him, but again, this kid's tough. I think he's going to be okay wherever this thing is going to go. And coming from a little bit of a shorter stance, I think he's going to hit him with those overhands. We'll see how that dirty boxing goes with him getting in there and trying to do that and use that style against Choi. But I don't know. I think he's going to be able to do it. So minus 520, I still feel comfortable with it. So this is going to be my my money line parlay pick. Again, I got that at a minus 110. 2 units on that one. My next one, I'm going to do a spread parlay. This is 3 picks, got it plus 100 at DraftKings. I changed some of these up and gave you some alternate spread lines on this one. Again, I went back to the well with Kevin Vallejos. I think he's the better fighter. I think he gets a finish in this one. If not, I think it's pretty commanding victory. So I'm going to take him at the -3.5. I sometimes don't like doing this just because if judges are weird, if it goes to the distance, I could definitely see this being one of those. I don't expect it to go the distance, but if Choi is having an on night, weirder things have happened. So I'm going to take Vallejos. I think he's going to get a finish in this. I can see him with an overhand right coming in and just flatlining Choi, but we'll see if I'm right in that one. But I'm going to take Vallejos and hope that he gets a finish and doesn't make me wait too long for it. Second pick, Josiane Nunez at +3.5. She is a favorite in this matchup. I think it goes to decision, and I think this is going to go in the judge's hands. So I feel pretty comfortable with that -340. Again, not overly confident that this is going to be the outcome of this, but I felt good enough that I think this is going to go long. And if she possibly does get the finish, that would be excellent because you definitely hit the +3.5 then. But I think this is one of those matchups that we're going to see her come in and just control the action everywhere it goes. I don't think Cachoeira is going to be able to get those takedowns that she may need in order to kind of shift the momentum in this. And I think that Nunez is definitely good enough to steal around in this. Volume wise, I think it's going to be there. And the next one, Stephanie Luciano. I like the way she looks in the weigh-ins. Honestly, I think she's determined. I think she fights with some fire. So the +3.5, again, she doesn't have to necessarily win the match. Even though I do think she wins the match, she just got to bust through that +3.5 and get win around, basically steal around. So that's going to be my spread parlay right there at +100 on DraftKings. 2-unit play on that one as well. Here's my underdog money line pick of the week. This is going to be AJ Cunningham at +390 on DraftKings. Look, I'm not sold on. The whole reason is I'm not sold on Su Young Yu. I don't know what he's going to be like when he faces a guy not only that's got a size advantage on him, but I don't think the takedowns are that bad. The takedown defense, to me, doesn't look that bad by Cunningham. So I think Yu's going to have a hard time here. I don't trust the guys that are on the UFC road to the UFC fighters. Sometimes they're hit or miss. I think Cunningham has enough to possibly get this done. I think he's the more dangerous striker in there. I know that Yu is tough. He has proven to have a chin, but I think if Cunningham can light him up a little bit and get the judges changed over in his decision, it could be where he gets a decision win in this, but we'll see. I'm taking +390. I did play this one under. This is not a full money line, or this is not a full, I didn't put, full money on this as I would some of these parlays that I feel a little more confident in. Obviously it's a +390, so we want to hit it, but I do have, it's basically like a 1-unit play on this one. Here's another 1-unit play. This is going to be a method of victory pick. This is Josiane Nunez to win by decision. I already told you that I have her in another parlay where I put her at the +3.5 spread odds. I think if this goes long, I think she's going to have the more of the volume there, and I think she's going to be able to get this done. So I'm taking her +120 to win by decision. I don't think she has I know she does have the power to get the knockout, but I think Cachoeira is durable enough to withstand what she's going to be putting down. And I think if she does win this, I think it's going to be by decision. So you kind of go with one, who you think is going to win the fight and how that method of victory is going to go. All right. This is the be all you can be parlay. All right. This is the one I'm kind of going against myself on a couple of these. Daniel Bairez, I'll start off with him at +3.5. I'm taking the spread on Bairez for the simple fact that I think this goes long. I don't know if Lima's going to be able to get Bairez out of there. He has proven to be pretty durable. And I can see a scenario where Bairez comes in very, above what Lima's going to come in there. I think Lima's a little bit more laid back in the beginning, kind of get a read on the situation. Bairez can come in a little bit hot sometimes. So I'm looking for him to be able to steal around in this. I ultimately think this is a fight that could go the distance, could be a split decision. I'm going to sweat it out either way. It's either going to be the +3.5 could hit, which you may know this after the first round. Hopefully we get a little bit of an indication which way this fight's going to go after that first round. But Lima's the one that I would put the money on to win the fight. But I think Bairez is good enough to steal around. So I'm going to go Bairez on the +3.5 at +100. Stephanie Luciano to win by decision. This is another fight. I think it goes long. I think Hughes is tough enough to withstand what she's going to do, but I think she's going to be able to decision her. So minus 175 didn't seem like something that was out of range to put in a parlay, especially when you're looking at a 5-piece. Brinson Ribeiro plus 3.5. For some reason, I'm just not feeling it from Nergoze. I know that he is probably the better fighter, but he looks lackadaisical this week, and I cannot get past that. And Ribeiro looks like he's ready to come in and at least throw down. So I'm going to take that off chance that he can do something in this, whether it's just win a round. I think if it goes long, Nergoze doesn't necessarily put out a huge amount of volume, and he uses his leg kicks. So we're going to see how this goes. I'm going out on a limb here. I think both these guys, Nergoze is a finisher, but I don't see the finishing ability. And sometimes when these guys get to the UFC, it can be a little bit tricky for them to get the finish. I know Ribeiro has been finished, but I don't know. I'm kind of putting it just in the hands of I think that Ribeiro has enough to get a round if this goes long, or possibly. Yeah, no, I don't think he's going to finish him. I think it's going to be, if he can do it, it's going to be him winning a round. Otherwise, I think Nergoze does get this done. It's going to be an interesting fight, honestly, for me to watch. Chidi Njokuani, I plus 3.5 on him as well. I think he's the bigger fighter. He didn't make weight, so that's always got to have that chip on your shoulder type thing. And Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, he is good, but he is slowing down with age, with the amount of fights that he's had. I think this is going to be one that I can at least see him getting around in this. I think Chidi's good for stealing around. I think you're getting a pretty decent price at minus 115. It's right even. So either way, I think I'm just going to side with Chidi in this one. I already do have him winning this fight, and I think he's good to go the distance. So I think this could be one of those fights where you see him steal that first round and maybe get a decision win too. Roman Dolidze, the money line. I went back and watched this fight. Dolidze had some decent moments in that first fight. And I do not like a year and 8-month layoff for Vettori coming in, obviously, with the shoulder injury. He switched camps. He was talking about that. He'd gone through some camps that didn't feel like the right fit. I'm just not sure where I sit on that just right now. So I'm going to take Roman Dolidze on the money line. Again, this is not something I'm putting a bunch of money on. This is something, it's like one of those $5 parlays that pays off big if it hits, because you do have a few of those plus odds in there and mixed in with some minus odds that are right there for you. So this is what I'm going to do for right now. This is what I have in. I just thought I would come on here and at least give you that rundown, kind of what I'm seeing, how I'm seeing it go in. But I think this is going to be a decent fight night. I think we're going to see some. I think we're going to see some that could go a little bit long, but overall, I think it's going to be one that we're going to have fun with. Let's just kind of recap. I'll go back through this really quick, give you my rundown again. Yunesi Dubin taking on Carly Giudice. I think Carly Giudice is going to have the better volume. I think she's going to kind of surprise Yunesi Dubin. I don't know that she's going to necessarily not be a little bit overloaded in her first trip to the octagon. So she's fought nothing but cans throughout her career. I think it's upped her record, and I think Carly Giudice still has a little bit more in her than she's shown forth right now, and I think she's the better striker. I'm going to go with Carly Giudice in this one. She is the favorite already. Joseanne Nunez taking on Priscilla Cachoeira. Again, I'm going Joseanne Nunez. Nothing has changed there. I don't think the size advantage is a huge difference. Cachoeira does have it, but I think Nunez is going to put down the volume. I think she's going to hit harder, and Cachoeira has proven that she can take a shot. I don't think she's going to be able to get Nunez to the ground, so I think this is going to be a matchup for Nunez going there by decision. Daniel Baires taking on Andre Lima. I already told you that I'm going with the plus odds on the one bet with Baires because I think he's good enough to steal around, but I think Andre Lima is the more complete fighter. He's got more ways to get this done, and I think he's just going to be the stronger younger fighter in this one. So I'm going Lima in this one. I do have him in a couple bets, so pay attention to what I'm saying here. Carlos Vera taking on Josias Musasa. I don't have Musasa in any of the bets. I think the line's a little bit long for me, even though he's probably going to come in and smoke Vera, to be quite honest with you. Vera's older in age. He's getting up there, and his main component is going to be the ground game. If you can't control it on the ground game, you're not going to get it done against Musasa. I don't necessarily think that Musasa is going to be good for finish in this one because Vera has proven that he's pretty tough. Definitely don't think he's subbing him. So if there is a finish, it's probably going to be by knockout for Musasa. But Either way, I think I'm just going to stay away from this fight, but my pick is Musasa. Next up, Dair Nergoze versus Brinson Ribeiro. I got to be honest, I've thought about changing this pick about 4 times now, and that's why I put in the bet for plus 3.5 on Ribeiro. Nergoze he missed weight. He does not look like he's for some reason as pumped about this fight, and I don't know why, but I don't like the body language that I'm seeing from him. I'm going to go with him to win the fight because I think Ribeiro, even though he can get a little wild sometimes, and I think it's going to be one of those fights that is going to be closer than the odds tell you. So I think Ribeiro can do enough to get that, maybe steal that round there. But I think this is going to be a fight that goes long. I'm even looking at placing a bet possibly in the over 1.5 if I can get it at decent odds still. But I think this is going to go a little bit long. Nergozi kind of lays back at first. I don't see him finishing Ribeiro at least in the first round. So maybe goes to the second round in that as well, but we'll see. But my pick is going to be Nergoze, even though I'm not excited about it at all. Stephanie Luciano taking on Sam Hughes. I can't get away from Luciano. I feel like she's the more motivated fighter, and these odds just keep getting a little bit better. Hughes is tough. Not going to discount, not going to take that away from her. She is a tough fighter, and she does have that wrestling ability. But I think if Luciano can stay active enough and control it on the feet, make it hard for Hughes to walk her down and get her up against the clinch, get her up against the fence and clinch her, I think she's got to win here. Stephanie Luciano by decision is where I'm going in this one. Next up, Waldo Cortez Acosta taking on Ryan Spann. I'm not backing down from Ryan Spann right now. He seems like he's in a really good place. I know I've seen this before, so I'm not entirely sold on it, and I'm not betting on this fight because anything can happen in a heavyweight fight. But I think Spann is the more powerful puncher in this fight. Cortez Acosta is more that death by 1,000 cuts type fighter. Even though it is the heavyweight division, he doesn't throw with extreme power. And I think Spann, if it goes to the ground, he's always a danger to get the finish on the ground by submission. So I think Spann's got more ways to get it done. I'm going the underdog in this one. I'm going Ryan Spann. Next up, Su Young Yu taking on AJ Cunningham. Again, underdog play here. I've already told you I'm going AJ Cunningham for the win. I don't like you just for the simple fact I don't think he's necessarily fought higher level competition. Road to the UFC people always scare me, and I'm never probably going to be on that side unless they're fighting each other. So I'm going AJ Cunningham, size advantage here. I think he's going to be able to withstand the takedowns, and I think he is the better striker out of the two. So I'm taking the underdog play. I think it's a good underdog play. AJ Cunningham. Damon Blackshear taking on Cody Gibson. I'm taking youth here. I'm taking Blackshear. I think he's got what it takes to get it done. The numbers are kind of scaring me. Cody Gibson, anytime you go up there and you refuse to shake somebody's hand, I always look at the other guy and I'm like, that's going to piss him off. Either way, I think Blackshear's he's got more finishing ability on the ground, and I think he's got a way to keep it on the ground. Gibson, he's going to be tough. I don't think it's a fight that you're going to be able to necessarily get him out quick. So be prepared to sweat this one out. Either way you're going. If you're going the dog and Gibson, I completely understand where you're at. If you're going Blackshear, I also understand that. I think the odds have stretched out a little bit further than I want to take them. Again, you saw my bet earlier. I do have it at a little bit better odds than what you got now. So that's why I felt confident in putting it in my parlay. Alexander Hernandez taking on Kurt Holloway. This fight can go either way. I don't have any bets on this one, but I'm taking Hernandez. I think he's more youthful fighter, and I think that he's kind of changed up some things. I look for him to come in motivated to get this done. I think this is a lightweight match as well. So Holloway's getting a little bit older, and I think it's just going to be the youth. I'm going Hernandez in this one, but again, not a bet on that one. Su Woo Choi taking on Kevin Vallejos. I'm taking Kevin Vallejos, man. I want to see this kid fight. I think he's a knockout kid. He does have a size disadvantage in this one, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to be something that he can't overcome. He's proven he has durability. He's fought, and I keep going back to who he's fought. Again, it's not the end-all, be-all. Other people have looked, decent at first against Gene Silva, and he just found a way to last. I'm not putting too much into that. I just like the way he comes in aggressively, and I think he's going to be able to get Choi up against the fence, and I think he's going to get some dirty boxing in. I think it would be smart to go some body shots, but overall, I think he's safe wherever this goes. I think he's going to get it done. So he's my most confident pick of the week, but Kevin Vallejos. Co-main event, Chidi Njokuani taking on Elizeu Zaleski. I'm going Cheaty in this one. Again, this is another underdog play for me. He's got the size advantage. Youth, it's not a that much of a difference, but he does have, as far as just the amount of fights that he's had, I believe that Elizu does have a higher amount of fights, and I think he's going to be a little bit slower. I think Inju Kwan, he's going to be able to use the range, keep him at distance, and he's going to be able to kind of move around enough that he's going to be able to get that decision win, because Zaleski is tough, and I look for it to go the distance. The main event, Marvin Vettori taking on Roman Dolidze. I already told you, Roman Dolidze is the pick. I don't trust the shoulder injury. I don't trust the layoff. There's two things going against you right there. Not that I'm high on Dolidze. Dolidze can gas later on in the rounds. Vettori seems to get tougher as the fight goes on, but who knows? I don't know if I'm not extremely confident in this, but I'm confident enough to put a bet on Dolidze at the plus odds money line there. So that is my breakdown, my re-breakdown, I guess I should say, of how I think these fights are going to go. You've got my bets for now. So hopefully we kick some major tail this weekend, and we get all across the board. We sweep this thing. That would be pretty amazing, because we'd have some big wins. But I wanted to get this out. The weigh-ins are done. Everything is judged. So all we got to do is fight now. I hope that you have enjoyed the breakdown. I hope that you found some useful bets in here. If you're not taking mine, then if you're fading them, whatever you want to do with your money, do with your money. But I wish you good luck, and I will see you again next week to do a breakdown. I'll try and get that out early. Going to try and put it together, and I've already got some picks in for that one. But I think we got another, is it a pay-per-view? Can't remember. I'll check it out again, but I'll be back with more. Until then, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the fights. Peace.